could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they drag the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place. I wanna be first, work till it hurts. Dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss, just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they drag the chains, you can say no, free me. Let's go. Time to grind, get inside your mind. Yeah, we working overtime, that's the only way to climb. We gon' make it in our prime, signing on the dotted line. Cashing checks left and right, that's the way I'm living life. I feel alive when I got a goal in sight. Chip away, I gotta fight, ain't nobody else in sight. Man, I think I see the light, yeah, that shit is so bright. Follow me, I got the guide, see you on the other side, son. Ain't nobody know what I've been through. Ain't nobody know what I can do. I'm ready to go into battle. I'll put on a show, razzle dazzle. I'm about to take off, never gonna stop till I'm chilling at the top. No, I'm about to take off, never gonna stop till I'm chilling at the top. Yeah. So get out my way, I'm here to stay. You could try another day, yeah. 'Cause I love the taste of winning the race. Gold medal, first place, yeah. Never gonna stop till I'm chilling at the top, yeah. Gonna stop till I'm chilling at the top, yeah. Never gonna stop till I'm chilling at the top, yeah. Gonna stop till I'm chilling at the top, yeah. I'm a vet, 'cause I work with every breath. Man, I love the taste of sweat, I won't have any regrets. They get upset when they trying just to rest, and I'm still right at my desk. Make them all feel so pressed, yeah, but that's the test. If you wanna be the best, it ain't easy, it's a mess. If you wanna have success, you keep going like possessed. Drive it deep into your chest. Every failure is a test. Learn the most, leave the rest. Ain't nobody know what I've been through. Ain't nobody know what I can do. I'm ready to go into battle. I'll put on a show, razzle dazzle. I'm about to take off, never gonna stop till I'm chilling at the top, yeah. No, I'm about to take off, never gonna stop till I'm chilling at the top, yeah. So get out my way, I'm here to stay. You could try another day, yeah. 'Cause I love the taste of winning the race. Gold medal, first place, yeah. Never gonna stop till I'm chilling at the top, yeah. Gonna stop till I'm chilling at the top. Gonna stop till I'm chilling at the top, yeah. Gonna stop till I'm chilling at the top, yeah.
Yeah, let's go. New year, new me, turn it up a new degree. I'm gonna make it to the top of it. It's the last thing I see. Work hard every day, work hard, then we play. I'll be doing everything in my own damn way. Ain't nobody tell me shit, I'm on top of it. Writing hits that make other people feel like writing hits. We gon' get every little goal that we wanna get. Never quit, we don't even know what it means to quit. Write it down, what you want, what you need, what you see. Everything that you wanna be. Put it out in the world, that's your destiny. In your mind, what you need is to have belief. I'm gon' make it to the top, cause I never stop. My own switch doesn't have enough. I think it's broken, I think it's lost. I guess that's why I never take a loss. New year, new me, no fear, just be everything you wanna be. Write it down, what you see, don't give up, just believe, and you will succeed. Put the hours in, and you're bound to win. New year, new me, no fear, just be everything you wanna be. Write it down, what you see, don't give up, just believe, and you will succeed. Put the hours in, and you're bound to win. Make a deal with yourself that you'll get after it. Find something that you love, call it passionate. Or find some passion and leave it behind, gotta quit. Your journey starts now, time to make it happen. And you could be great, have it your way. Served up like some room service on a nice plate. The high life is only hours a day away from making a change to the life that you chase. New year, new you, new day. Go prove to yourself you can do anything you wanna do. When you set your mind to something big that you choose, break it down to the root, chip away, gotta move. Push past all your limitations. Right now consider this an invitation. Make your worth go up like inflation, and start chasing your dreams, stop waiting. New year, new me, no fear, just be everything you wanna be. Write it down, what you see, don't give up, just believe, and you will succeed. Put the hours in, and you're bound to win. New year, new me, no fear, just be everything you wanna be. Write it down, what you see, don't give up, just believe, and you will succeed. Put the hours in, and you're bound to win.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give it up, don't be scared. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. Don't be scared. Just look me up. Don't be scared.
Check, check, 1, 2. Check, 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 1, 2.
Gonna make it to the top if it's the last thing I did. Never catch me, man, I'm gone, cause I'll be working off the grid, grinding through all the pain. I said I'd do it and I did. I'm the type to work until my hands fucking bleed. I'm the type to fight when others fall into their knees. I'm the type to ask for more pain, get it please, 'cause on the other side.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, no, I can't complain. I just got in kind of a mood the other day and decided I was going to shave off all my hair. Something weird like that. Thanks, guys, for the sound update. Appreciate it. Yeah, we have a guest tonight, and then I might open up the open panel a little bit later. Yeah, I'm very impulsive. Very impulsive in the sense that as soon as I want to do something, it has to be, you know, by definition, impulsive. As quick as I can. The same way with purchasing things. Like, I'm not good at shopping around and finding the better price. If I immediately see somebody that has it, I'm buying it right there and right then. And I won't haggle people on prices. I'll just buy it whatever it's listed at. Who are they? All right. What time do I land in Florida? I haven't even booked anything yet, man. Ooh. I know I'm not leaving until my girlfriend gets back. My girlfriend's out there right now. When she gets back, then I'm going to be setting up my trip. Join me when you're ready, Carl. Join me when you're ready, Carl. Loading so slow. What the hell?
Thoughts can keep you down, pushing deep until you drown, or they can keep you up strong, focused on the now. Glass half full, or has it been emptied out? Well, that's all up to you and your mind. Do you doubt anything? Everything, not a thing. Make my thoughts work for me. Manifest what I need, what I want, what I see. I could be anything. I attract all the things that I see. I believe I'll achieve as I breathe in and out again and again. I don't doubt. I sit and I plan and I found out that I can execute if I'm driven, if I listen, if I learn all the wisdom. Read some books, something written, watch the best. Teach a system I invest. Never hidden, I ain't scared. Ain't no chicken, I take dares. I'll be winning, you get back. What you're giving, find the reason that you're living, what you're good at, all your gifts and what you love. Take a risk and find out what you've been missing. Lies deep way under the surface, and like a fire needs coal in the furnace. This is your goal that makes it all worth it. This is your why that gives you your purpose. Lies deep way under the surface, and like a fire needs coal in the furnace. This is your goal that makes it all worth it. This is your why that gives you your purpose.
Music out of the way. still bright over there. I wish I had that kind of sunshine coming in my window right now.
Hey,
How we doing, Carl?
I'm doing great. You?
I can't complain. You know, another day in paradise.
Yeah. I call it a nightmare.
Dude, I had to tell you that fucking video that you did with it was just a short of where you were watching Johnny Gobble's short and he's talking about eating asshole. Your fucking facial expressions in that were so funny. He's just sitting there like
I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I don't, to each their own, I guess.
I mean, all right, so since we're on this topic, are you an ass guy? Are you a legs guy? Are you a breast guy? Because I think that might be why that's not something you're into, if I had to guess.
I'm not into that. I'm not, like, no. Like, my girlfriends have all varied, like, big ass, small ass, big tits.
No preferences though.
It's a personality.
Okay, fair enough. No, I just didn't know if, like, all right, I know a lot of guys that are like, oh, I'm big into boobs, and then they'd be like, all right, I could see why a guy like that wouldn't want, to be a butt guy for any reason.
Well,
but
I think it's all right to like a butt on a girl, but I'm not sticking my tongue in there. That's just like, I don't know, man. It doesn't appeal to me, but
that's like the new culture now.
I know. It's kind of like the devil's taken over or something. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Do you think, all right, we went from, like, let's say how old are you? Just give me a rough idea.
51.
51. All right. So when you were a child, we went from guys never going down on their wives to now not only are they going down on their wives, but they're going down and around and inside and outside. Because that used to be always the thing. Guys never, like, took care of their ladies, but they expected the same in return.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the butthole I got a problem with.
Fair enough.
I mean, if you're gonna expect a woman to go down on you, you might want to do the same for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would expect people to return the favor.
But I don't expect anybody to lick my butthole, and I ain't.
So okay. So I know you're not into it. So what do you do if they're approaching it and you're trying to get them away? What's your what do you say to somebody like that?
Be upfront and honest and say, hey, I don't think you're the girl for me. If you want to eat my butt, you're just not the girl for me. I'm sorry. I draw the line.
Well, to everybody in the chat that just walked into this conversation, Carl had put up a short the other day, and it was this guy that's kind of infamous for being a troll, I guess. His name's Johnny Gobble. Not a lot of people know about him unless you're in, like, the Upchurch community. Like, not a lot of people really know who Johnny Gobble is. And yeah, he's all about getting into the rear end, if you will. And yeah, Carl did like a commentary video on it, and I saw it, and I was just laughing my butt off. No pun intended.
Like, Johnny is famous. You just got to ask him. He is so famous. He is world renowned. You got to ask him, Jacob. He's a legend.
He's famous, but no, he's famous because of Ryan. Like, you're famous for being a stalker, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I've never been like, oh yeah, I followed this guy's family around so long that I became famous. Like, what? Wait, where are we at?
Well, somebody finds it appealing because people are watching. I mean, he's got, what, almost 10,000 subs for being an idiot?
that was actually something that I said the first time I met Wade. I said, Wade, you know what I don't understand? I was like, why are all these guys that are against Johnny? I was like, why are they all in his chat and giving him views and keeping him monetized and all this other stuff? I was like, if you don't want the guy and you don't like him and you want him to go away, why is everybody watching his channel all the time and giving him watch hours and giving him a platform to come and talk on?
Oh, not only that, like, I'm sorry, I think Wade's a bit of an idiot. But they're called.
I don't know much about Wade. The little bit I've talked to him, he came on my live one time. And
like, if they were smart, they could destroy Johnny Gobble, but they're not.
Yeah.
Instead, they'll call Johnny's wife's work. They'll call CPS.
It's like he's almost a play toy for him.
What's that?
I said he's almost like a play toy for them.
Well, yeah. I mean, he makes it so easy. He's one of those guys. If you just like, I don't know if you pay attention to it right now, but the Gotcha Man, he makes Johnny so mad, and all he does is uses Johnny's own words against him.
Oh,
he makes him look like a complete idiot. And Johnny
is a complete idiot. He doesn't remember what he said in the last live stream. He just rambles. Like, there's not, I don't think he has a coherent thought coming out of his brain.
No.
Johnny's just a goofy guy.
No, I'm sorry, I get mad when people say they're like into Jesus and stuff like that, and they can just turn around and lie, like on a dime.
Yeah,
like, the Warrior of Christ, Rocco, he almost makes me want to vomit.
I'm not gonna get into Rocco. I told, because he is asking me who I was doing a show with. I was like, I think I'm doing a show with Carl tonight, and he's like, he's not a chosen one, and I'm like, weird that that's your only thing, Rocco. Like, why would you argue with somebody like about who's more a chosen one of God? You know what I mean? Like, who makes that argument?
Well, because he's an idiot. I mean, like, I watched, like, I don't know. I swear God just shows, because I notice he's on there like 24 hours a day almost.
Yeah.
But I click on it and he's talking about me. And I'm like, and he's telling people that I've went after his children.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Like, never have I. At anybody's children. I've said you're a shitty parent, Rocco. I said, by the way you act, I'm a little concerned that your children are even around you, man. Like, that's concerning when you're threatening other children and you're acting a fool.
So why do people say the things about, because we haven't talked about this. I don't know anything about it besides word of mouth. Why do people say that they have issues with your parenting or what you're doing?
With what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Well, because I don't bet.
I want to kind of start from the scratch and we can build up to this. But like I've heard something about like you and your son don't get along or something like that.
Oh, my whole family's a mess, bud.
Yeah, like like I said, outside of perspective, I don't know much about it.
Well, I'd have to tell you the story, but if you thought that your family was in trouble, do you think giving in to them and doing whatever they want is the best thing? Or do you think trying to achieve the goal of like enlightening them a little bit on what's going on in the world and that the future isn't looking good?
Like how, like what was your, because I agree with the sentiment behind it. What was your method of approaching telling them about the future and the things that they needed to change?
Here's the deal, bud. When you're a chosen one, you go through a whole bunch of shit. And you start to realize and you analyze people and you know what their next move is. You can read a narcissist from a mile away. And I'm surrounded by them.
Yeah. I'm a self-admitted narcissist, though. Just when you said that, I immediately feel like I have to say that every time I hear the word narcissist. I'm a self-admitted narcissist. I'm way too into myself, and I have to check my ego constantly throughout the day because I I've constantly done this since I was younger. It happened actually. I remember like the exact age it happened when I became a narcissist. I was like somewhere between 13 and 15, and I lost 100 pounds. And from then on, my shit didn't stink at all. And I just was convinced I was like God's gift to the fucking world. And from then on, I had to like put my ego in check every day. Like,
well, I don't understand. Like, that's not the Jacob that I read. I mean, you seem to be like, do you purposely go out and hurt people?
No, I don't do any of that.
Do you think you're God's gift? What do you mean by you think you're God's gift to the world?
Like, I used to get made like constantly, and I don't know if it was because of the sport I was in or anything, because I was in a sport that was based on how much I weighed. So it was just constantly, oh, you're too big for your weight class, or you're too big for, you need to lose weight. And I'm hearing that as a 13 to 15-year-old, you're like, God damn, like, am I really fat compared to all the other kids and all this? And then I constantly, like, I found myself, I had an eating disorder probably from the time I was 13 to about 17. And I just constantly worried about the way I looked and this and that. And that's all I focused on. My focus wasn't about, doing well in school or establishing good relationships when I was younger. I got all my partying done while I was in high school, and had a child at the age of 18, and I just like pretty much started my life at 18. But basically, I just restarted. I quit doing drugs. I quit doing everything at like the age of 18, and never looked back. I said the biggest drug that I do now is probably alcohol, and because I consider alcohol a drug, it's just a legal one. But yeah, no, I struggle with that all of the time.
See,
yeah.
I think the problem is most people don't love themselves enough.
Yeah.
Like there's a fine line between loving yourself and the ego that makes yourself feel like you're better than others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You should always strive to be better than others, but knowing that you're not.
I think the balance of what a narcissist is and what I struggle with is a narcissist is somebody who doesn't want others to succeed at the same time. Like if somebody tells me good news, I don't get jealous anymore. Like I used to get jealous when other people were doing better than me. I'd get like if someone said, oh, so-and-so got a promotion at their job, I'm like, fuck them. They don't deserve it. Instead, I'd be like, no, that's awesome. Like, great. I'm glad you got a promotion. If somebody asks me how somebody's doing, regardless of if I think they're doing bad, I lie and I'll say they're doing great. Like I try not to give people leverage, I guess, in those kind of scenarios. And I don't feed into like the negativity as much. It took me a long time to get to that, like as an adult, and like a healthy way to look at the world.
I don't see a problem with jealousy. I think it's when it turns into envy. So if Jacob, if you come up to me and you're doing really well, and you come to me with this like Ferrari, and I'm like, holy fuck, man! Like, how in the fuck did he get that? Like, I'm jealous. I want that, and then it would inspire me to do something for myself, so I can one up you. I don't see a problem with that. It's when you're envious, you'd rather take something from somebody.
Yeah. No, there is a balance between envy and jealousy too, because I do like that characteristic, the competitive nature of like I will challenge somebody to kind of go back and forth with like, oh, okay, I did 100 push-ups today. And then they come back and they'll do, all right, I did 110 push-ups. All right, crap. Now I got to keep up with, the Joneses or whatever, you got to keep up with. Like, I like that kind of competitive nature. But
smash them and rub it in their face.
Hey, Claire, long time.
Make them work as hard as you.
I haven't seen Claire in a little bit. She's been doing a lot of open panels lately. Long time no see, Claire. Hope you're doing well. So, all right. Before we get into, because I feel like I could ask you 100 questions. When did all this start? Like, tell me a little bit about your upbringing. Tell me like when this came to you that you were a chosen one. I wanted to start with like as your childhood? Did you feel that way in your childhood? Did you have kind of a messed up childhood and then you reached a point? Like, how did it?
Oh, I had a messed up childhood.
In what sense?
We were really poor. My dad was an alcoholic. Like, don't get me wrong. I know people probably had it way worse. Like, we were a family that grew up on powdered milk. And do you know what that is?
Yeah, I know what powdered milk is.
Powdered milk. We had puffed wheat for breakfast every morning.
Mhm.
You know, it was a treat if we had some sugar to put on it. In that kind of life, you know what I mean? Like, Dad would go hunting and nobody knew what the meat was, but I'd catch him with squirrels. So we were like eating squirrel and stuff like that. I mean,
So, like,
it was rough. He was an alcoholic. He beat my mom and shit.
that's
like
what I was going to ask. Were both parents around?
that. They got separated when we were like, I think I was like 7 or 8.
Okay. And then you said dad was a drinker. Was mom doing anything, or she just kind of?
No, we went with our mom when they separated, but then we ended up in a foster home, so she couldn't handle her kids.
So you got sent with your mom, and your mom couldn't handle you guys.
Yes, we went into a foster home.
How many brothers and sisters?
I got 2 brothers and 1 sister.
2 brothers and 1 sister. I had an older brother and a younger brother. A middle child. Middle child syndrome.
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest?
I'm the oldest.
Okay. So when where did you grow up? Like Midwest, like one of the coasts? Like where?
I'm in Canada.
I know you're in Canada. What part of Canada?
Ontario.
Oh, okay, Ontario.
So I can basically explain it. I'm like 2 hours away from Toronto and probably 2 hours away from Detroit. So I'm like right in between there.
Okay. I go up to Sylvania a lot. It's like right on the border of Michigan. And it's like, I don't know, 50 miles away from Canada. We go up there just because it's unforested. We go over there all the time and go kayaking and boating. I like to drive out there a lot. It's just beautiful country.
I go out to Michigan all the time. Like, if I fly somewhere, I usually fly out of Detroit.
Nice.
Or out of Michigan there.
Nice. Okay. So when how'd you do in school? School easy for you? A little tougher for you?
No, not good, bud.
Not good?
Not good. Not good for me.
Not good because you weren't studying. Not
I don't
good
know.
because attendance.
I couldn't pay attention.
Okay. Were you ever diagnosed with ADHD or ADD or anything like that?
There's no diagnosing that sort of stuff back then, right?
I mean, they started it kind of in the early 90s with the diagnosis of it because I'm a victim of one of the I guess the tail ends of it. Basically, everybody my age that was a little bit hyper got diagnosed with ADD and ADHD, and they tried to put me on Ritalin when I was younger, and I eventually got off of it around the time I was like 12, 13, because I realized it was kind of turning me into a zombie. Like, it just, I don't know. I have this issue with mood stabilizers that I can't really explain to other people. I think depression is a good thing in the sense that everybody goes through depression. Everybody goes through anxiety. I think it's part of you can't see the light without the dark. It's the balance to the world. If you just walk around life all day, all hopped up on lithium and nothing bugs you, you're not actually living a real existence. It's not. Yeah. You're not experiencing the world.
Listen, here's the problem. This is like, I'm pretty sure the problem is that we don't acknowledge where the anxiety is coming from. We mask it with a pill. We're not figuring out what's bringing on that anxiety.
Well, yeah, there's no.
Because we don't talk. Like, humans don't talk and they don't communicate anymore. People are afraid of saying things to people because, well, quite frankly, people use things against them. It's like the whole world is divided right now. Nobody talks to one another.
Yeah, but I think I think the underlining issue is that instead of doing the necessary steps of figuring out what the source is, like I do think exercise and all of that is good for young kids. Like that, I think
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing where a lot of especially younger boys are getting diagnosed with ADD and ADHD. It's just like some boys just need to go out and like be in a sport. I remember I used to be able to stay up for 2 weeks straight. Like I just had a lot of energy. Like I had no reason to sleep. I was never tired. And like I get why my parents wanted me medicated. It was probably fucking hard to deal with. But then they were like, why don't we just put him in a sport and let them wear him out at the end of the day?
Yeah.
And then he'll come home a little tired. Because that's truly what it is. I mean, kids need to be run down a little bit, especially boys. I really do think boys need to be run down by the end of the day.
Yeah, I
Boys need to have
remember.
sports or
Well,
something.
we weren't. We couldn't afford to do sports, but I mean, from the time we got home from school and we had dinner, we were back outside, and we weren't coming back in until the street lights came on, just playing and like playing manhunt and stuff like that. You don't see kids doing that anymore.
No. Well, I mean, just anything where you're getting like, gosh, even when I was younger, we still had like a group of kids that we could get together and we could start up like a little tackle football game at the local park wherever we were at. And now you don't see that anymore at all. Like the kids are in their own goddamn worlds on the computers, and I don't know how they're not, stir crazy of sitting in front of it all day. Like I wear myself out all day at work, and then I can sit in front of the computer and have a drink and have a smoke and relax a little bit. But I couldn't just do it all day. I would fucking I would go absolutely crazy.
But we weren't like
Use
that
my
when
marbles.
we were like the Goonies, man. We were like packing all this stuff up and going for hikes and checking out new woods and
Yeah, building forts. I mean, it just makes sense.
yeah, and build like we have this creek right near us. Like we used to find big things of styrofoam and make boats and
Yeah, even that term, mud rabbit, hyperactive. To say a kid's hyperactive, it's just like no, that kid's just a kid. Like he's just a kid. Kids are supposed to have more energy, or like teenagers that are a little sassier. You expect it, that teen angst that comes with age, and they think they're ready to run the world and they know everything. It just I don't know. I feel like a lot of these things that were just common back in the day are just not as common nowadays, especially common sense.
well, we stick them in front of a screen now, right?
Yeah,
Like that's
that's
what
the
we
future.
do. We stick them in front of a screen and they're happy with it.
Yeah,
But then they got nowhere to put their and then we wonder why they have problems.
yeah. So what? So did you go to college or anything
No,
after
no,
school? No.
no. I didn't
Did
even
you
finish high school, bud.
did you work in high school?
Oh yeah. I've worked
Uh,
all my life.
what was your first job?
What was my first job? Oh shit, probably strawberry picking.
Okay. What did you work for a farmer? Was it
Yeah,
like
yeah,
temporary? Like
like
was it seasonal where you only came when the strawberries were ready to harvest,
yeah,
or how did that
yeah.
work?
Well, I was like probably like 9 or 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I used to pick raspberries and stuff like that. Corn to tassel.
Yeah.
Also,
No, I mean I live in corn country. We used to have detasseling where they'd hire kids and they'd bus them out to a field and
yeah,
teach them
I,
how
I
to do
was
it.
I was
Yeah.
one of the kids on the bus, man.
Okay. First real job that you liked. Tell me about it.
First real job.
Yeah.
I only ever had two real jobs.
That you would consider like important jobs, or
Well,
that you took something from it.
I try and take something from everything, but my first real job where I was like, and like I had to take care of myself, which was at what 18. I was like at my apartment when I was 17, but I had the full-time job when I was 18, and it was at a distribution center.
Were you still in the foster care system until you were 17? Did you have to get
Oh no,
emancipated
no,
or anything, or
no. Our dad ended up getting us back.
what age was that at? Do you know?
Oh shit. Probably around 8 or 9.
Okay.
We weren't in there long, maybe a year.
I mean, it's good that your dad was able to get you guys back. Well,
It
sometimes
depends on
they,
the way you look at it. I mean, they weren't the
yeah.
nicest people neither, so it was kind of like me and my brother were like, "Oh, which one do we want to go to?" Like,
Well,
it
it's
didn't
more.
really matter.
I was more saying that in the sense it's good that your family didn't get separated, because sometimes once you get into those systems, sometimes they separate the families and you don't
Oh,
make
they
it.
did. They did. Me and my one brother, and then my brother and my sister were at another home.
Yeah.
So they did separate us, but then
At the end, they brought you guys back.
yeah.
That's good. I wonder if it's a different system in Canada, with the way that they do the child care system. I know in the U.S. they have issues with it a lot, especially with separating kids and separating families and stuff like that.
Well, they did that to us, right? They separated us.
Yeah. Let's see. So you made it through high school. You were talking about your job that you liked. What that you had when you said 17? You started getting your own apartment.
I think I was 18.
Big apartment. Did you move in with a girlfriend or just you by yourself? Roommate?
Oh no, unfortunately I had roommates all the time.
Okay.
But it was my apartment.
So were they helping with rent or were they just crashing there? Or what kind of roommates are we talking about?
You know, you're a young guy and there's a bunch of other heathens getting kicked out of their houses. And
yeah.
I had to have my brother live with me at one point in time. And so I was like 18, working, trying to take care of my little brother, making sure he's going to school and shit.
And did you keep your brother on track? Would you say, for the most part?
It's hard when you're a young guy like that, right? You're trying to work. You're trying to. I mean, I did the best I could, right?
Yeah, you can only do so much.
He wouldn't take authority from me, right? If I was like saying, "I need you to do this," and he never did it and stuff, but.
At least he knew you cared.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was always, "Hey, I want you home at this time," and he never did it, and he'd just stay at his friend's place, and it just didn't.
So, what job was it that you were getting ready to tell me about when you got your own place? You said you had to get your own place around 17, 18.
Yeah, it was a distribution center.
Okay.
So they packed.
What kind of? Just boxes?
So it was basically like, say you have like a place full of like GM parts.
Okay.
You get like orders from like other countries for the parts. So we would package them up and get them ready for shipment.
Nice. All right. So you're just order picking and stuff.
Yeah, gotcha. Exactly. The job was called a picker packer.
Yeah, that makes sense. Forklift work or no?
I worked there for 5 years, so yeah, I was part of the shipping and receiving department.
Nice. Okay. So when did you get out of the apartment life and start settling down? When did you get the girlfriend that eventually turned into the mother of your children?
Like my 30s.
What's that?
Until I got my 30s.
That was in your 30s?
Yeah.
Okay. That's when you started like settling down, or what?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about the significant other. You don't have to give me any names or anything. How'd you guys meet?
We met at a bar.
Met at a bar? Okay.
Met at a bar. And
you gotta give me the cheesy story. You saw her from across the bar and knew she was the one, or what?
From across the bar, sent some dude up to tell me that she had a crush on me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it worked.
And then what? And then you guys just hit it off from there and started hanging out?
Yeah.
Okay,
She
so
already had a kid.
how long from when you guys met and first kid? Pretty quick?
bud. Pretty
Pretty
quick.
quick. Okay.
Even quicker for the second one.
No waiting. All right.
No,
So
I got Irish twins.
okay. So was she? So I'm assuming the packing job didn't last very long once you started having a girlfriend, right?
We met. I was at Marwood.
What's that?
I'd had a different job. I was at Marwood. I started off on the floor. Worked my way up to the shipping department, and then worked my way into inventory, and then worked my way into scheduling, and then worked my way into management.
Okay, so have we missed when this message came to you from God that you were a chosen one inside of that time, or no?
Oh no.
No.
No, that was
when
that
did
was only 4 years.
was that after your kids were born?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And
I had a lot of trauma before God spoke to me.
so what kind of trauma? What kind of trauma were you going through? Was it from high school trauma, or is it from something else?
No, it was wait a second. No, it was the year of COVID, bud. Woke me up. See, this is where I learned all about how human beings actually are. You think you're surrounded by love, and you're really not.
In what sense? Like what? How are you not feeling love? Just
okay. So the workplace was going really bad, right?
Okay.
For everybody, not just for me. It was
they were laying everybody off during COVID, I assume.
Yeah, but nobody came back, and there was a whole bunch of problems. They changed the system. I don't want to get a whole lot into it, but it was a really bad situation, right? Like really bad. So what happened was, and at this time I was working like 1 million hours and shit, and what happened was is like it was COVID, right?
Yeah.
And I've been trying to show them the problems that we were having and how to fix them. Nobody wanted to listen. But what happened was is when you work a whole lot and you're working like 80 something hours a week, plus you're working when you're at home and all this other shit, you get sick, right? Well, due to their COVID rules, I had to get a COVID test before I could come back. Right? That was the company's rules for everybody. So I took a lot of heat because I had 3 days off of work because I had to wait for a COVID test. So I took a lot of slack for that. And then there was a whole bunch of issues. Like I could get into my whole work issues. But anyways, what ended up happening is that they had me to the point where I wanted to kill myself. I made an attempt. I didn't want to live anymore. I was convinced I was a piece of shit. I didn't want to be in the world.
Did it stem from how you felt valued at work, or was it also at home?
Yeah. Well, basically, it stemmed from the value you feel as a human being, right?
Yeah.
You obviously feel no value. Don't want to.
I feel like it had to be crumbling around you. It couldn't have just been one source, I would assume.
Well, it started accumulating because when you work at a place for 22 years, right? A lot of those people become your friends. So what ended up happening is that when I went off, I went to my doctor and I was like, I need some help. So he sent me off of work.
Okay.
So I started getting letters from work, or when I went off, I put on my work papers to the workplace, and I wanted an investigation to have to at least give claims on what had happened, right? They wouldn't do an investigation. So I started talking to my friends at work, and nobody would talk to me, right? All of a sudden, I got a letter from work saying I wasn't allowed to talk to these people. So I was like, how are you supposed to fix something when you can't talk about it?
Was it because that there was an open case?
No,
Is that why?
no investigation. That was the problem.
Okay.
Like, this is the thing. They try and trap you so you feel like you have nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they had me feeling like shit. My friends were all fucking, like, my friends from work, they weren't even talking to me. One tried setting me up. So I made a suicide attempt. It didn't go my way. So a couple days later, I tell my wife, I said, when you caught me, I was going to kill myself. I think I need to go to the hospital. I think I need help. I don't want to live anymore. Just want to go. So I went to the hospital for one night, and I talked to the psychiatrist. And this is the only time the psychiatrist ever helped me. I explained my story to him, right? He says, you're dealing with a narcissist. Cut cold case of narcissism.
He's saying you were, or
I was dealing with a narcissist.
You were dealing with one in your life, or you were dealing with yourself, the narcissist? What was he saying? I didn't understand the implication.
I was dealing with a narcissist. My work problem stemmed from a narcissist. Somebody who thinks that they know everything, has to control everything, will crush and destroy anything in its way. You understand what I'm saying?
I guess I don't understand what they meant by it.
Have you done much research on narcissism?
Yeah.
So,
but I always thought it was somebody that was into themselves, more than worrying about their exterior.
Well, yeah, they'll do anything to make them feel superior. That's why they crush people. They destroy lives to make themselves feel good. Why do you think the little family exists? They just want to crush people to make themselves feel good because something in their life is lacking.
No, I think so. I think there's a balance. I think there's always going to be online communities like the little family or stuff like that. It's that human nature of watching a train wreck, and I understand why people like to watch things self-explode or self-implode or whatever.
No, a good train wreck is good, but you can't run it off the tracks on purpose.
Well, that's the thing. That it's up to the trolls to figure out which one is worth following and which one is not. You know, that's up to those communities that get involved. That's but I always think those communities will be around. Those communities will always be a thing because it's a human characteristic.
To tell you the truth.
Say that again.
I think they're about to end.
Who, the little family is?
People who act like that. People who lie.
What makes you think it's going to end?
To hurt people.
You think it's because they're trying to hurt people?
Well, yeah, they do. They purposely lie.
I'm not saying that they can't hurt people through their actions. What I'm saying is some, like, I can look at some of the people that they go after, and those people shouldn't be on the internet. And I mean, maybe they're not helping the situation, but at the same time, it's like when you bring attention to something that's bad. Like, I have no problem with somebody bringing attention to something that's bad, but that's why I said I'd rather talk to you, Carl, and hear your side before I made a judgment on what you were or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't immediately assume you were bad just because the little family was after you. But then again, I don't know. I don't know yet.
Oh, you never know. You got to find out for yourself. And here's the problem. Nobody wants to find anything out for themselves anymore. You're a rare breed there, Jacob.
I am. I don't know.
Nobody checks in for me. Like this is how stupid little me is. He'll tell me, like, when you're chosen, and that fucking Rocco, he's a fucking turd. Save the children. Fuck that retard. I asked him to help me save the children. That fucking little retard doesn't want to help anybody. He wants to get his name out there and his face out there, and he wants to be the Rocco Nation. He don't care about anybody but himself.
I do think he gets distracted by his ego sometimes, but God, I think there's an underlining trust issue. Like, I think me and you talked about that. I think it's an underlining trust issue where he wants to feel accepted more than anything.
Yeah.
And he's just reaching for branches, trying to figure out, where the right one is.
Well, here's the thing. He knows all this shit that's going on. He talks about it. Just like little me says he knows the WEF's out there, but he doesn't want to do anything to save his fucking kids. Like, all you got to do is say no. Hey, no, Bill Gates, no. Like, I'm sorry. I think people are stupid if they can't fucking take a look at Bill Gates and see that he's pure fucking evil. You have not got a brain in your head.
No, I don't. I'm not a big fan of Bill Gates. Can't say I ever have been.
Well, look what he's doing to our food.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a while. I mean,
he's genetically modifying all the insects.
Oh yeah, you'll own nothing and have nothing and be happy.
Yeah, and fuck him. Like, why are you scared of? Are you scared of him, Jacob?
Am I scared of Bill Gates?
Yeah. No. Then why can't we all come together and just let Bill Gates know that, hey, we know what you're up to. We know you're at Epstein Island, bud.
I just do it my own way. I don't think it's going to do any good to have the public call him out when you have media companies that are running a cross block.
Exactly.
What people need to do is they need to make their voices heard at the grocery store, not on social media. I mean, nobody's going to any of these online communities with less than 100 people in their chat and looking to figure out how to save the kids. No one's on YouTube saving kids. No one is. Well,
isn't that a problem? Isn't that because there's no future? There's not a future. Like, if people can't see, like, it bothers me that people don't know. Like, Kanye comes out and says Jay-Z and P. Diddy are killers. They work for the feds.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all this P. Diddy shit comes out. And nobody can get that fucking Jay-Z and P. Diddy are killers.
I mean, Cat Williams has been saying the same shit for fucking 10 years.
Well, when the fuck do we clue in? When do we fucking clue in and do something?
I mean, it's the simple idea. Well, and I've heard some new stuff recently about Michael Jackson, how he might not have actually been as bad as people made it out to be. And it was actually just the media trying to pretty much throw him under the bus, as well as I heard Puffy. I heard Puffy was trying to throw Michael Jackson under the bus as well. Yeah, I heard a lot of different stuff about it.
And I'll tell you what, like, everybody step into fucking Snoop Dogg. I'll tell you what, I think him and Dr. Dre are fucking evil too.
I
And I
bet
can tell you why.
the two people that know more about it, the two people that know more about it that don't have as deep involvement as everybody else are people like Eminem and people like Snoop Dogg, because they were coming up in the scene at the time. So they were the new guys hanging out in the studio when all this shit was going down with Tupac and Biggie and Puff Daddy and basically everything that happened with Death Row Records as well, because that was around the time that Dr. Dre signed Eminem, and he had just signed Snoop Dogg as well. So these people were all hanging out in the studio at the same time as all of this drama was going around with this East-West Coast bullshit. And people have been talking about this this weird thing that's been going on, and it's specifically in black culture when it comes to rap music, because they were talking about it with Lil Wayne's quote-unquote dad, Birdman, for the longest time, and the Hot Boys. And they used to talk about how, like, he used to get on stage and be like, yeah, I fucked with women, I fuck with men too. And then they just start calling on attractive guys out of the audience to bring up on the stage. And like, it got to this weird thing where some of the rappers would acknowledge it, and then some of them would just try to separate themselves from it and just be like, I don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't want to know what they're talking about. And then Lil Wayne started kissing his dad on the lips all the time. And like, but it's not really his dad. It's just this gangbanger guy that like raised him after his dad passed away. Like he wasn't raised by his dad. He was raised by this music mogul. I don't know if you've ever heard of Birdman, but yeah, he's got an interesting past of being around young black men and corrupting them in different ways.
Yeah, and then they're corrupting the young minds that are listening to them.
Well, what are your thoughts about people like Martin Lawrence or like Dave Chappelle, or these black men that are put into media and they make them wear a dress, or Kevin Hart's another good example of all these black men that they try to feminize and make them wear a dress and all of this other stuff in Hollywood. Do you think it's part of this like ritual culture of being in charge of another person or belittling them?
It's like John Cena too. What was the point of that shit?
Okay, so
John Cena.
I separated the John Cena thing because Mud Rabbit disagrees with me. She's in my chat. She disagrees with me about this. I don't think that counts as a humiliation. I mean, the guy looks like a Greek god. Him having his shirt and his pants off in front of everybody, I don't think that's humiliating for him. I don't think that's a humiliation ritual when he looks like that. If he would have had fucking what's his face from the Man Show, who was right next to him, if he would have been standing there with his shirt off and his pants off, I think Jimmy Kimmel, I think that would have been degrading and humiliating. But John Cena looked fucking great. I don't see how. I mean, and if you see him at work, what has he got on? A pair of jeans? I mean, a pair of jean shorts, and he's got his shirt off anyway with his legs out, and like he didn't take much away from his actual work attire.
What's he teaching young boys? These people, our children are idolizing. What are they?
I was done with John Cena when he apologized for addressing Taiwan. That was when I was done with it.
John Cena is a fucking pussy. Like, big muscles, big everything. He sold out to the devil, man. Like, if you don't know he's not a stooge, then fuck. That's like The Rock. If you don't know what he's cooking, fuck, I don't know what to tell you, man. With Oprah, that whole, like, shouldn't The Rock be still in Hawaii trying to help his people? Aren't they still in trouble?
I mean,
how much money do you need?
So what are your thoughts on what happened in Hawaii? Are you on the conspiracy side of energy weapons, or are we like, do we just think it was just some elite project?
I don't know, dude. Blue roof.
Blue roof. No, I know. I agree.
Like,
blue. It stopped at the blue roofs.
Like, we don't.
It's wild that Biden. It's wild that Biden went out and talked about that technology a little after they displayed it.
See, here's the thing. The people can say whatever they want, and nothing ever gets acknowledged. Like, you got Ryan Garcia running around doing his shit, right?
Okay.
Is he full of shit? Is he not? If he seriously has shit, he should be taking it to somebody.
Yeah.
To be
Well,
saying,
and that's actually something that I said to Rocco. I said, we haven't learned anything new about Bohemian Grove since Alex Jones went there. Like, Ryan didn't say anything new that he couldn't have went and looked up on the internet and just spouted back at everybody.
yeah, because even Andrew was saying, hey, you got all the information they're going to need to know, dot, dot. And he just said, yeah, of course I got it. But he never said, yeah, I can give them step by step.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. When you're telling a story, you should be able to tell step by step. Instead, it's a big mystery.
And people actually didn't. Okay, so there was something going on with Andrew Tate at the time that people didn't realize. So he was getting ready to leave Romania and just move out of Romania and not go back. He was going to be done with Romania. And he had messaged Aiden Ross, the YouTuber, kick streamer, whatever he is now, and said, hey, come out to Romania. We'll do a bunch of videos. It's going to be my last time I'm going to be out here, blah, blah, blah. Aiden read that chat online, and then Andrew was arrested the next day. That his arrest that just happened recently. That's why Andrew told Ryan not to come out to Romania, because Ryan's like, I'll come out to Romania. I'll tell you all about it. Andrew's like, no. You don't need to come out to Romania. He said that right when Ryan was trying to tell him everything about Bohemian Grove, because he already knew he was leaving. And then, then right after that, he got arrested because Aiden Ross talked about him leaving. And so they thought he was fleeing and rearrested him. I just thought it was hilarious.
What? Like, that's the thing. Like, when do we not stand up for these people who are trying to stand up for us? Like, how many people have to fucking go down in flames because we want to be in fear?
It's more about
obviously trying to tell us something, right?
I agree, but unless it's a spoon-fed narrative that the media can sign off on, then they're not going to okay it. You know,
why don't we change it? Don't think so.
They don't want to. They don't want to change it. They don't want to change it.
Well, they don't want to, but we can.
They pick and choose what stories they want to put forward. Otherwise, Jimmy Kimmel wouldn't be relevant right now.
Well, why don't we change that?
Jimmy Kimmel used to wear blackface and dress up like Oprah, and then he also used to wear blackface and dress up like Karl Malone, and he used to wear blackface and like do silly shit on the Man Show. You know how many times it would be easy to cancel Jimmy Kimmel, but instead he's able to be, the spokesperson for the left. And I mean, he made a great example of it when they were doing the Oscars the other day, when he decided he was going to make fun of Iron Man. What's his face?
Yeah.
Who's the actor who plays Iron Man? I can't think of it.
Or whatever.
What's that?
What's his name? Downey Jr.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. And Jimmy Kimmel thought it'd be a funny joke to bring up his drug problem that he had 20 years ago. Like, we're making jokes about a drug problem 20 years ago. Like, if Robert Downey Jr. wanted to make fun of you for some shit, like, he used to wear blackface. He used to, like, Jimmy Kimmel is so easy to pick on. And it's weird that he goes and picks on other people. And then he'll go on his show and cry to people that he feels, that he's so sad about the things that he's going through and this and that. And it's just like, yeah, these people are just propelled narratives that we're supposed to fall into. So, I can see why they're not going to push a positive message like Andrew, because Andrew's talking to military-age boys. The last thing they want is military-age boys getting up off their asses out of the front of the computer and going and actually doing something. That's why Jordan Peterson isn't allowed to talk. That's why Joe Rogan was flagged for a long time. That's why Andrew Tate was flagged for a long time. Like, this shit happens all the time.
Stand up and say something.
It's the audience. That's why they don't want you to say something.
Well, it's because we're not making them. We need to find out who's on our side. We need to find someone like Candace Owens to stand up and call all the alternative media and say, listen, it's time to tell the mainstream that we know what they're all about. And if they don't start telling us the real news, they're going to get jailed. And we as the public, I'm serious, man, I don't know about the in the States, but we got a real police problem in Canada.
I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's a police problem. It's a. All right. Well, let me hear. What do you think the policing problem is? Lack of police or the police's training?
I think it's the police's training. They're fucking a bunch of stooges. I could tell you some stories that would just make your head spin.
Because I think the police in the United States, their job gets depicted in a way that the media can almost vilify them before they do any kind of internal stuff. Like there's a great example in the U.S. and it was during COVID where there's this guy at a drive-through and he had passed out in his car or something like that, and the cops pulled up and they were talking to him and they were going to arrest him. Eventually, the guy pulls one of the weapons off of the police officer and turns around and points it at the police officers. And then the police officers end up having to shoot him and take him down. And the media coverage was the guy only had a taser and the police shot him and killed him. And it's just like, well, no, you disarmed a police officer with one of their, whether it was a non-deadly weapon or a deadly weapon, doesn't really make a difference. You just robbed a police officer, and then you dealt with the consequences of it. Yeah. And the narratives don't get pushed like that. Like, so unless there's a white shooter, most of the time they don't talk about it in the United States. If it is a white shooter, they'll talk about it. If it's not a white shooter, they'll probably not tell you very much about that story because it's not relevant to the narrative that they're trying to push. They want you to think all white people are crazy and we need to take your guns away. Yeah. And white people are out here killing black people at record numbers. That's what they want you to think about the cops as well. When, if you look at the numbers of the cops are not killing black people at record numbers. I mean, if anything, they'd be killing white people at record numbers. Yeah. Even by population. Even by population, once you take that into account.
Well, what they're doing is they're taking the power away from the cops as well, right? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make them their stooges and their stooges only. Like, there's this thing, Rebel News in Canada here. You can watch it. RCMP, they set up a reporter to try and charge him with assault. They're arresting reporters all over the place. They're letting 50-year-old men shower with young girls because, well, those 50-year-old men claim to be a young girl. Like, it's all sorts of weird.
That's the other thing I haven't been able to figure out, especially when it comes to jail, is where they're doing this a lot in the U.S. is they're giving people a lot of like rights in jail when it comes to like trans people and this and that. And I've always thought of jail as one of those places where you lose most of your regular rights. Not they give you extra granted ones. Like, all right, now you can go stay with, I know you were a man for the first 12 to 16 years of your life, but now that you've transitioned, we'll let you stay with the women in jail. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like, what are we doing here? It's really weird.
They're putting the trans people in women's shelters here.
It's weird.
Oh, yeah, it's weird. It's not right, dude.
The infamous troll, not troll, but lolcow, Chris Chan. You know Chris Chan? You ever heard of him? No. Well, she eventually changed her name to Christina Chan. And she just went to jail recently. She went to jail for sleeping with her mother. Her 72-year-old, what's it called? Senile mother. She's either got dementia or senility. I don't remember. I think it's dementia. And he was sleeping with her. And when they took him into jail, they decided that they were going to house him with all of the girls because it said on his ID, Christina Chan, or Christina, whatever his last name is. Yeah. Chandler. Christina Chandler is his last name. And dementia of the moment. What? What up, little Robbie? Hope you're doing well. Oh yeah, the mom had dementia. Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. And basically, they housed him with the women until they realized that, oh, okay, he's here for sleeping with his mother. He's still got a dick. He's still trying to put it in things. Like, are we gonna at least house him with the appropriate people? God, that shit is so wild to me. And now he's free again. Yeah, he's out again. It's wild, and those are the train wrecks that the lolcow communities actually started following. Those are the families that like actually go after bad people, like your Chris Chans of the world.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't mind when like Little Me is he calls a lot of Rocco's shit out. You can learn, like you can learn a lot from Little Me because he will do his research on Rock and he will call Rocco on his own shit. Like he'll call him on his lies. And that's what really pisses Rocco off.
I would agree. I mean, the last thing someone would want if you're weaving a narrative on the internet and then somebody pulls the rug out from under you. Yeah, it makes it a little harder.
Yeah.
I get it. And I mean, and Rocco will tell you, like, when I'm trying to get Rocco's attention, like he knows I can get his fucking attention. Like, after I talked to you the other night, I ended up doing a live and I tried to get his attention. And sure enough, he showed up. He was on his live, just listening to mine. And I'm having conversations over here. Like, and I can just hear him listening to me. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's listening to everything I'm saying. And I was doing that just to be like, yo, man, you need to take a deep breath and think about what you're saying over there. Because sometimes it gets convoluted in the message. Like sometimes morning Rocco sounds different than nighttime Rocco. And I think it makes a difference when you're online for 12 hours. Like it could be rough. I mean, I can't imagine. That shit'll wear anybody out. I think the longest stream I ever did was 34 hours. 34 hours straight streaming.
I can't even do more than an hour. I mean, I guess this is different. I'm talking to somebody about.
Like, I mean, if it's engaging conversation, it's not too bad.
I haven't had too many though, so this is a rarity.
So you are going through the struggle when it comes to suicide, and what is it that pulled you out of that after the failed attempt? What was your next pursuit after the failed attempt? Were you thinking about trying again? Were you reaching out to your family to let them know where you were at? Like where did you go from there?
So I went through a little bit of a process, right? So when he told me that I was dealing with a narcissist, I went and did my research, tried to learn what a narcissist was. Okay. So as I got in and started looking at narcissists through my algorithm, this thing called empaths also came up.
I know what an empath is.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure I'm an empath. Well, you think you'd be an empath if you chosen one, but here's the deal. I didn't think it was I thought it was something everybody had. I thought they had the ability to
it's rarer.
See
I think it's
themselves
rarer.
as someone else and have those feelings as if it happened to yourself.
I think it's rarer in men. I think it's actually empathy and empaths are more common in women. I think.
I don't think so. I think it's equal.
Because I find myself to be more empathetic, as well as I can sense more things. Like actually, when I'm under the influence of hallucinogens, that's when I take in more things. That's when my retention is better, and I can actually pick up on subtle cues. Like I can read body languages from people. I can read auras from people. I'm really weird about that. Like I won't surround myself with bad people. Like especially if I'm under the influence of something like that, and I can just go, oh, you're just. I can see right through it. I go, oh, you're a bad person. I'm like, we can't talk right now. Okay, but I have to pull back the veil in order for me to see those things. Like I'm not naturally an empath. That's why I asked.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. I always thought everybody had that ability. You know what I mean? I always thought, hey, before people think, they think about how that will make that person feel. That's why, I never really did anything bad to people. I mean, I did, but I figured out why I did it. I mean, alcohol can be a fucking motherfucker of a thing sometimes.
Yeah.
It's my Achilles heel, but
what was your go-to when it was your Achilles heel?
Oh, dude, what?
Anything you get your hands on, or
tequila?
Tequila? Oh god! All right. I still avoid tequila, and I drink. I still avoid tequila.
I'd have a nice night with the 12-pack, and then the bottle of tequila would be sitting there calling my name. And alcohol can either bring you good spirits or it can bring you bad spirits. It all depends on what you're surrounded with, I guess.
Yeah. No, I always tell people when I'm drinking clear alcohol, my M&M comes out. Otherwise, if I'm drinking like whiskey or rum, like a dark alcohol, I'm a lot more mellow. I can't. But God, I've seen so many people that just as soon as it hits their lips, they're done. Like I thought for the longest time that alcohol wasn't addictive like that. And then I saw people that actually were in it. They're in it deep. Like, oh, once they have that first drink, they're on. Like the rest of it is like, all right, we're gonna go until we pass out. I'm like, oh shit, okay. There's like levels to this.
Oh yeah, my old man used to drink all day.
Yeah.
All day. Like, but it was beer too, but
I feel like you'd almost get numb to it at that point. That's actually why I don't drink beers, because I would get too bloated. I drink alcohol because I would rather feel the alcohol and not have to have 13 beers to get there. Like,
yeah. See, we were thankful. We didn't want Dad drinking whiskey all day anyway, so we were just thankful of beer.
Yeah, I would avoid wanting my dad to drink whiskey too. If you already know he got a little rowdy when he was drinking. You don't want to fast line it.
I learned about empaths. So then you talk about Jordan Peterson, right?
Yeah.
I wish I could find it for you. I'll send it to you. He does this speech on the truth. And it changes my life like that. The truth means everything. And when I say the truth, I mean not just the truth in the outside reality, but the truth in your inner reality. You know, I don't
believe it. Wait. Do you believe in personal truth?
Personal truth?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, everybody's got their personal truth. But there's also
do you think personal truth is separated from the truth?
No, the truth rules.
Okay. All right. That's the clarification I was looking for. Okay, thank you.
No, like that's the thing. And that's why everybody should be asking questions. Everybody's entitled to their personal truth. But it's when you are ignorant and don't want to take in information that can change your truth because of your ego, that's where there's a problem.
Yeah.
Because we could go our whole lives thinking like just because gravity is the truth right now doesn't mean it is in the future. It means it was true at one time, but the circumstances changed. Do you know what I mean?
I think the facts. Well, no. Let's see. I don't think constants change, but something like gravity doesn't have set in stone constants. Like just like gravity would be different on another planet.
Yeah.
You know, and our planet could go through changes where it could alter gravity.
Exactly.
Be-
So the
but
truth
only
is the way
because
gravity is right
the
now can
stable.
change in the future.
But that's what makes gravity, I think, a theory. I think it's called the theory of gravity, I believe. I don't think gravity is considered a fact, but it's listed as a theory. If you actually look it up, like, is gravity a theory?
Yeah.
I think it is a theory. But I wonder if it's because it doesn't have the set in stone constants. So you hear the speech from Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. Dude, it meant so much to me. I random got this tattoo.
What is it? A duck?
It's a male head with the brain with truth written underneath of it. Let's see.
And what does it mean to you?
Everything. Everything. The truth should mean everything to everybody. Like, it's the way.
Okay.
It's what Jesus was. It's what he represented, right? Was the truth. He told you he's the truth and the way. The truth is the way to God. That's why I don't understand why so many people lie to themselves.
So let me ask
that's
you.
not the way to God.
Let me ask you if, as a religious person, do you think it's ever obtained? Is it possible to obtain the truth if none of us can ever be? We're all imperfect to Jesus, and we're never going to be at that same level, according to the Bible, at least.
We're never going to be at that level. Didn't Jesus say that we would have powers just as much as he? I think
we're created in the image of, and we would always strive for excellence, but we would never be like the greatest human that ever existed, which would be Jesus.
Maybe.
He who is without sin.
Like, I don't like to say anything bad about Jesus, but I have questions, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they say that Jesus was perfect. Then why did he go to Egypt to learn?
I think he went all over to learn. I think that's what made him perfect. Is that he did go everywhere.
Exactly.
That's what made him. Yeah, that's what made him perfect. It's the people that think they know everything. Those are the ones that are already decided for. It's like when you go in. It's somebody going into an argument with their feet in the sand. They're not really ready to actually hear somebody else's ideas. That's why Jesus traveled, was to hear other people's ideas and hear other truths, even if he didn't agree with them. Like, it didn't matter. It was the fact that he was trying to acquire knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Do you take anything with that? Like, what are your thoughts on reincarnation?
I believe that we are meant to. Okay, so I'll give you a synopsis of my beliefs. I believe we're in purgatory right now. This is purgatory, and in the finest sense. I don't believe in hell. I do believe you can live a life that is a harder life, but I believe you're meant to reincarnate until you get it right, until you reach a higher vibration where you can actually ascend or go to heaven, whatever you call it. I consider it more of ascension, because I think you're raising your vibration. The creatures and the beings and the things that we see that are coming into this dimension with us are lower vibration entities meant to throw us off the path. Doesn't matter if you call them demons or you call them aliens or whatever. Like, I don't care what people's definition for them are, but I think they're all the same thing. They're lower vibration energies that are trying to pull you off of your mission.
Yeah. What's your mission?
What's my mission? It's a good question. Me personally, make it through life without harming as many as possible. Probably. That would probably be my underlining mission, is not harming others. Um, because if I could find a way to just keep to myself, because gosh, I almost like, and this is so external thought, like it doesn't apply to my immediate life because I'm thinking of multiple lives. Um, it almost makes you not think of family as valuable as just people in general, because if your job is just to be a good person, not only do you have to be good to your family, because a lot of people worry about just their family and not the external, and so they will shut off their relationships with others because they don't realize what they're actually doing. Like, you could be hurting somebody on the outside, but as long as you're taking care of your own, you think you're good, and that's not really the case. It's got to be the balance with both. And yeah, I don't know. It's a struggle, I would assume, especially to find one's own mission. Because when I hear people that I listen to a lot of sci-fi and stuff like that, and I'm a big fan of Stargate. It was shot in Canada. I don't know if you're a fan. I'm a big fan of Stargate, and their idea of what ascending is, and you basically reach this form of energy, because energy can't be destroyed, and these energy beings are light. And a lot of them, once they get there, what they decided to do is they decide to pick a human body and go back down to earth to help others get to that point. And I feel like if everybody's chasing heaven, I feel like eventually that's what they're doing, is they're getting there and just being like, nah, we got to get the rest of our friends here. Like, I feel like, yeah, sure, that's my goal, is to ascend, but at the same time, I have a feeling once I get there, if all my friends aren't there with me, it's not going to be fun. It was the same idea of when you were younger in high school, just be like, well, all my friends are going to be in hell with me, so like, well, sin is in. Let's go. And I could see people doing it on the good side as well as the bad side. I have an interesting perspective on fucking religion. I talk about it a lot, so it's one of my favorite topics.
I believe that there is reincarnation.
Okay.
I believe that if I believe that Jesus has been on this earth many, 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 many times
In many different forms.
in many different forms. He said,
Actually,
"Before Abraham, I am." Does that mean
yes.
it was Abraham, and before that he was? Does that go back to Toth? Like, hey, Hermes.
Well, what are your thoughts about like big G, little G, Yahweh? Like, when it comes to, because some people, when they talk about they're Christian or they're Catholic, they get stuck in the. I don't think any earthly religion is getting it right. I think they have pieces. Everybody's got pieces of the story mixed with the people, the winners that were writing the stories at the time.
I
think that's why we see similarities in flood myths all throughout religions, and the idea of a monotheistic religion, in the sense that there's only one God, instead of getting out of like what the Romans and the Greeks used to do with multiple gods. Like, we geared away from a lot of old customs, all to get all of our major religions all have one singular God.
see. I don't close my mind off to anything. I feel that there's a God, and I feel that there's a God that talks to me, and that God is loving. You know, he's like, when I say I really don't have enemies, and I truly do feel sorry for people who hurt people. I
Yeah.
do. I feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
I think
I was talking about that with you. I think the last time we talked, I said, I don't hate anybody. I don't hate anybody, because it's just too much for me to carry around. There's no reason for me to carry around hatred for anybody, because it's a burden I don't really feel like carrying around. But I understand why people get convoluted and think that they need to hate people, but it's just like it's not going to get you anywhere.
No.
Like it's a waste of energy. Like there's no outcome that would actually benefit you from spending your time thinking negative thoughts about somebody else.
Well, it's because everybody wants to be the victim these days. Like the world is so sad. Like I watched earlier. I watched Candace Owens, and she has this rabbi on there.
Oh God, yeah, he's a mess. The guy's he's been coming at her ever since the Kanye West stuff.
Oh, this is
I know a lot about Candace.
Different guy. This is a
no, I know. He's got white hair and he's got glasses. No, there's like 3 rabbis that have been going at her, and he's one of them.
Yeah, you listen to that interview and you tell me he's not a piece of shit.
Yeah, no, and he had called her on the phone and told her prior that she needs to stop talking about these things, and she needs to stop supporting Kanye West, and she needs to the rabbis have been going after her for a while, and it was because the people that were speaking out in Hollywood weren't specific enough with their messages. They weren't being like, oh, these Jewish people are making me upset. They were being like, oh, we don't like the Jewish people. And I'm like, okay, well, that's what got Kanye West canceled, is because of the way he delivered the message to people, and they perceived it wrong.
So he gave names.
Oh, no, I know he did. Well, wearing a Balenciaga whatever outfit, who used to make fucking uniforms.
This is what I don't get about, I don't understand this world. Like the Kanye from before, and then there's this new one now. Is it a new one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about this on YouTube. I'd be kind of curious, but I do believe in clones. I do believe people have been swapped out before. The Eminem I knew that was politically charged Eminem when I was younger, he's differently politically charged nowadays.
Oh, he's bad.
Yeah, I feel like I remember when I thought the swap happened, they thought the same thing about Joe Biden. They thought the same thing about. There's a lot of people that they claim got swapped.
Okay, dude, I'm gonna try and find it. There's an interview with this rapper, and he talks about being cloned.
The rapper talked about it?
Yeah, from a place called Clonaid. When you look it up, Clonaid's real. Then you look it up. They're in lawsuits about cloning right now. And this rapper is this woman's that owns it, or is in the court case, his friend. It's weird. Place is called Clonaid.
No, I've been following CRISPR enough to know that we've been doing this kind of modification for a long time. I mean, we can hand select and hand make our babies now. We can pick the DNA that gets put into them now and decide exactly what they're going to look like before birth.
Have you seen the laboratories?
Yeah, the biggest one
baby making machines.
Yeah, the biggest one is CRISPR. That's the biggest company that offers it to the public, where they're like, yeah, do you want to make your baby from scratch? You can get these genes, mix them with these genes, and they're just going to, you're playing God at that point. They're dabbling with it.
Of course they are. I mean, come on, dude. Like, Christians can't get that they need to stand up right now and do something. The WEF has a chip for your hand. It's not that far away, especially in Canada. They already started doing implants in businesses, and they were using it for personal identification to get into buildings and to access their accounts. They've already done that for some large companies. Implants at the wrist that you just get to scan in with. But yeah, Neuralink's going to be coming out. I think all that stuff's going to be voluntary.
Humans are going to voluntarily hand over their lives to robots and AI.
Well, if you
It's going
don't,
to start with a prosthetic limb, and it'll slowly move on from there.
the social credit score isn't really a choice, bud.
I mean, it is.
Either you take it or you got nothing.
It is because right now our financial system isn't stable enough where the social credit score is actually going to make that much of an impact until we swap it out with something. If it gets swapped out with Bitcoin, then your social credit score might make a huge fucking difference because you might be trapped on everything online. But as long as precious metals are a thing and money's obsolete right now, like we know cash tender, at least in the United States, it's obsolete. There's no reason for it.
Yeah, but everybody else's money's backed by something and your guys's isn't.
Exactly. So we go, what we would have to do is go with the things that are backed by something. People that have precious metals, people that have goods and services and stuff like that, those are the people that are going to be valued members of society. The rest of them aren't. I don't care how many millions of dollars you have on, whatever bank account on the internet. When it's gone, it's gone. You're just gonna wake up one day and it's all gonna be fucking gone.
No. Here's the deal, bud. Do you think Larry Fink doesn't have a whole bunch of shit backed by gold? Do you think that?
No, I think they have actual. I think they buy actual gold. I think those are the people that buy gold from other people. Those are the true wealth is measured by that.
Well, they're the ones that are going to leave us with nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are we going to let it happen? We know it's going to happen. We just talked about it.
Well, I mean, I've had conversations with. I had a conversation with the niece of Eisenhower, the former president, and she was talking about some of the elites. They already have these what she called ARCs or ARCs, these ships that when the shit hits the fan, that they're just going to up and leave. These elites are, and they'll just leave us on this planet to self-destruct and whatever else. I mean, I think it's a lot bigger and a lot more global than people think it is. I don't think we're as divided as everybody wants you to believe. I think the people that have money know the other people that have money, and they're in enough communication to know that, like, we're the feeders and the breeders, and they're the ones that take care of us and keep us relevant. Yeah, we can add to their wealth, but some people are so rich right now where it's like they're generationally so well off that they don't have anything to worry about.
Why?
It's weird.
That? Because they played us. We pay for our own demise. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, we volunteered for it. It's the same thing with our political systems. That's why I say, why are you mad that this person got voted in? Like,
well, I try and use common sense. Hey, Russia was the Americans' biggest threat. And America is supposed to be the greatest country in the world. And Russia was the biggest threat, right? So in what world did you guys think that Ukraine was going to beat Russia? In what world? And hey, was anybody reading about what Ukraine was like before the war? Dirtiest country in the world. You can hear it right from Bill Gates's mouth.
No, it's the American irony is all of these people that were protesting about Nazis and this and that during COVID and a little after COVID and during Donald Trump's presidency, and they were all up in arms about Nazis and racism is the biggest thing to fight in the United States. Then we're sending millions upon millions of dollars over to the Ukraine, where they have actual Nazis who fucking have been around. Yeah, they're actual Nazis, and we're funding them. And it's like, if you actually look into the issues, and that's why I say the media convolutes it so much. If you actually look into the issues, we've known this forever. Russia told the United Nations a long time ago, he goes, yeah, we're fine as long as you don't encroach on any more of our land. And then the United Nations decided they were going to encroach on more and more fucking land. And that's when Russia was like, no, we said this 30 fucking years ago. No. And then they stood up for themselves. And they used to fucking own the Ukraine. And it's like, oh, you're trying to snatch up our own land that we told you not to fucking encroach on? Yeah, sorry. That's what they're doing. Like, Putin's not a good guy. I'll be the first one to tell you. I don't think he's a good guy, but he stands by his word. Like, if he says, don't fucking step on my property, and you step on his property.
I mean, come on. If they were to do that to America, no. I mean, and like,
depends on who their allies are. We used to think of America used to have the biggest government. I mean, the biggest army and military force in the world. We don't anymore.
No, and you guys send so much money to your enemies, it's not even funny.
And we pay everybody else's way in the United Nations.
Well, dude, you guys made a 6-person swap for people in Iran, and you tossed in an extra $6 billion to go with it.
Dude, we fucking traded the fucking merchant of death for a fucking women's NBA player in Russia or a women's basketball player in Russia.
When do we stand up and say something? Hey, there's an American hero in jail, and we want the NBA star who broke the fucking rules clearly.
Right, we're gonna leave that guy there, but for media, we're gonna have to get this star out who decided she was gonna bring her fucking vapes to Russia. Like, god damn!
Like,
put down the weed for a minute,
right? Like, and we could change it easily.
No, we can't change it because everybody feeds into it so well.
Because everybody thinks we can't, Jacob. You just said we can't. How can we do it if you don't?
Because everybody's praising. Think about it like this: everybody's praising, oh, the death of old media, right? Everybody's like, oh yeah, you know, your ABCs, your NBCs, they're all going to be gone soon. It's going to be gone. Okay, what are you giving it up for? An alphabet company that owns all of the online platforms, and they're censoring your speech? What are you giving it up?
We got to find out who's on our side.
Where's the lesser of fucking two evils here? Like, we have a limited internet. They're putting us into a narrower pathway. I was actually going to ask you about this. What are your thoughts on what's going on with TikTok?
TikTok? Well, I think they want to get rid of it because, well, as much nonsense and stupidity that's on there, there are people who actually communicate with one another, and they do get good information from TikTok. So the government wants to stop that.
Yeah. And some people are wise enough in the government to be like, oh shit, if we shut down TikTok, it's going to create an echo chamber, and all of these people are going to go to the other platforms that are already owned by the ABC corporations that have already told us that they worked for the FBI in the last election cycle. And they already told us that they suppressed this story. And they already told, like, I don't know. It's an endless thing that we keep feeding into. The two-party system alone in the United States, it's meant for disaster.
Well, like, you can change it. Change it.
We should. How do you change a two-party system in the United States?
You tell them you want change.
Okay, Barack Obama. Where do we go from here?
Well, you get together with like-minded people and you spread the word, and then you get yourself out to somebody with a bigger platform, and you express what you want to do, and then you get other platforms to come together with you and tell the news and say, hey, listen, you guys are done. And hey, police, we love you. We want you to serve us. Please don't serve your government. Serve us. Find out who was at Epstein Island. We're done with this. Come on. Let us know.
I agree, Gonzo. You're right. Because when one voice gets too loud, that's exactly what happens.
Well, stop being scared. They can't kill us all.
They'd be happy to kill us all.
Well, they're trying to, but
they'd be happy to. They're going to do it in your food. They're going to do it in your water. They're going to you name something they haven't started tapping into yet.
Well, they're into the devil, right? We can obviously tell by looking at Hollywood and the music industry, right? They believe.
I think the devil is a concept. The devil is a concept, and I think they're into bad vibrations. They're into low energy. They're into negativity.
Yeah, so they know there's a good guy out there. If
Yeah.
they know there's a bad way, they know there's a good way. So maybe they've been lied about their way, and we need to let them know.
So all we need to do is have a big platform where we can convince them that the bad guy is the good guy and the good guy is the bad guy.
Well, that's pretty much the way it is.
Exactly. And so how do we get people to stop feeding into that system?
Well, I have a question for you, just because I think a certain way, but I want to see how you think. What do you think of Trump?
What do I think of Trump? And in what sense? You gotta give me a little more specifics. Because I'm very strategic about how I think of Trump. I'm not an always Trumper or a never Trumper.
I'm the same. Like, do you think he wants to drain the swamp?
Do I think he wants to drain the swamp? I think he wants to do things that will make him appear as a righteous dude. Like, I think he wants to go down as a good president. I don't think he cares how he gets there, because he's cool with you as long as you're cool with him. He's that guy. As long as you're praising him and saying he's a good guy, then he's cool with you. As soon as you cross him, then he's done with you. Like, he's going to praise people as long as they praise him, and vice versa. He's very much self-grandizing.
Who do you disagree with that he threw to the side?
Who do I disagree with that he threw to the side?
Yeah.
That I disagree. Like, I disagree that he threw them to the side, or I disagree with him.
That's what you're saying. You're saying, well, if you don't agree with him, then you kind of.
Because I think, like, DeSantis, I think he would have been a good person to have around Donald Trump, but I also think he had some issues as well. I think everybody, like, I can pick every politician and I can find a couple issues that I didn't like about him. As well as Trump, I can find issues that I don't like about Trump as well. I don't think he's ever going to be a unifying a factor for the country, because he has divisive language, because the majority of society is still convinced that you have to talk nice to the public, you have to come off like a leader to them. You can't be into picking on people and making fun of people. Like, that's never going to win the majority. Well, not the majority. He can still win the majority, but it's never going to get the populace feeling comfortable about their choice. A 50-50 split is not good for any election.
I think he's chosen.
You think he's chosen?
I think he's chosen.
I mean, I've had people tell me that he was a good president, but they've also told me that he was one of the ones that's supposed to lead to the end of the world. I've heard a lot of different. I've heard of him as a Trojan horse, but he's not the main. He's not the main demon, is what they told me. And I was like, I mean, I can see it both ways. I can see why people would think of him as a corrupt thing. And I've heard people tell me he was going to be the last president. I've heard people tell me, like, I've heard a lot of different things about Trump, but I heard the same thing about Barack Obama. I remember they used to tell me that he was going to be the Antichrist. That it was predicted in some of Nostradamus's old books that there was a black man that was going to be coming into presidency that was going to be the last. And for a long time, people speculated that it was Barack Obama. I didn't think it was him then either. Like, I don't know. It's something that humans do where they always try to predict the end of the world. That's why I think it's good that the Bible talks about you will never know the date and the time. I think that's good, because there's too many people that are like, oh, I know when it's going to end. I know when everything's going to end. And you always got to be ready and willing to learn more. You always got to be ready to take on more. You can never be set in your ways.
Well, that's the problem, right? I think the Bible has the ending that I think it's been manipulated and used for us to believe that certain outcomes have to happen. So Christians just sit around and wait and wait and wait and never do things that they should do.
Yeah. And I think it is out of fear. I think
Well,
it's
like they've been told someone's coming to save them.
yeah.
Like, hey, maybe God did want the book like that. Maybe he did want you to see the ending. Don't let it happen. Fucking step up and be a big boy and do something now so it doesn't have to happen.
So I think this will lead into where I wanted to kind of end this conversation, because I do need to talk to you again, because we'll get into tangents where me and you are just going back and forth about a current thing that we're talking about, which is good. I was trying to structure this more like an interview.
I know.
No. But it's fine. I like you asking me questions and us going back and forth about our ideas. That's fine with me. Like it's been a great conversation.
Well,
but
I just feel like I need to get to know you just as well as you need to get to know me.
Oh yeah, no, and that was the other thing I said to somebody offline. I said, "Damn it, I kind of fucking like Carl," and they were like, "What?" And I was like, "I kind of fucking like Carl." I was like, "I don't have an issue with him yet. I haven't heard anything bad." I was like, "He thinks similar to me." I was like, "I'm not against Carl," and yeah, no, a lot of people in my chat said they like the conversation, so I'm not offended that you're asking me questions. It sounds like we're like-minded about a few things. But I do need to know. So when did this vision come? After the suicidal thoughts, after you got past that, you got the tattoo, you got the inspiration from Jordan Peterson about the truth speech. What was it after the truth speech that made you feel that way? Like that you were a chosen one?
So I had a whole bunch of fucked up experiences. So this is how it started. Because I was strong and in the truth, and it just felt like everybody was trying to beat me down, and I learned a lot about people. So anyways, I'm sitting out in my backyard, right? I look up in the sky, and I swear to you, it's the first time I ever seen a shooting star. And I wished upon it. And I asked God for the truth. And then the very next night, and I'll put the picture in my community post so you can see it.
Okay.
The very next night, I'm outside, and something told me inside my head to take a picture. And I did. And I don't know what it is, if it's another shooting star or a tear in the sky or what it was. I don't like, it could be anything. I'll let you see it and you can tell me what you think it is.
Okay.
All right. So I think it was that night I had this voice in my head. It told me, it said, you're going to feel like you're going crazy, but you're not. You can handle it. You're strong enough. And then I went on a little adventure.
Where'd you go on an adventure to?
Fucking one question in my head, bud.
Okay.
I was living two worlds.
Like simultaneously or back and forth between the two?
Simultaneously, because my head fucking broke. It felt like my brain twisted. You know what I mean?
I you gotta give me more than that. More than just twisted. I gotta.
Like it felt inside like something had broke, like it twisted and it broke.
I just didn't know if you meant like, because I've heard the term like your reality got flipped upside down and everything you thought was okay. Like that. No, that to me, I can relate to that a little bit more, but.
And that's when I started thinking anything was possible. And that's when I went on my adventure. But if you want to continue this another time, but unfortunately, I got to go to bed, bud.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. Get some rest. I
I got a
appreciate you
little
coming
fella
on.
I got to take to school.
Oh yeah, not a problem, man. I appreciate you taking the time. Yeah,
No
we
problem.
talked for 2
Anytime you
hours.
want to do this
If
again, no
you
problem.
usually only go an hour, I'm happy I got you for 2.
Anytime you want to do this again, let me know, bud. And we can.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I'm open.
Then we can get
Monday.
into the real meat and potatoes of it, and I can
Yeah.
tell you exactly how my human interactions went.
Okay. Yeah. No. Now we got a good stopping point too, so we can go to right when the experiences started. When you started
Yeah.
knowing, that you were the one, or one of the ones.
I can send the picture in the community just so you can take a look at it.
Let me ask one last question before you go.
Yeah.
Are you one of the ones, or like do you know of other ones, and or do you think you're one of very few?
I don't know, bud. I hope I'm not the only one, but I do see other people that I think are Roseanne Barr.
I love Roseanne.
I think
love
she's
Roseanne.
a good one. You can see it when she talks to people, and she wants to talk about God, and they don't give her what she wants. You know what I think she wants to go all out, but I think she has experiences with God, but I might be wrong.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll continue this another time, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. You have a good rest of your night.
Yeah. Have a good night, everybody.
Sweet. Got to talk to Carl for a little bit. That was a good night. Man. Let's see. What time is it? It's right around 10. Yeah, we'll wrap up. I appreciate everybody that tuned in, and I assume I'm missing some stuff here and there. So yeah, everybody enjoy your evening. Have a good night. Thank you for stopping in. And Boss Man missed the interview. Yeah, I missed it a little bit. I might come on here in a second and do an open panel, but I want to separate these two. So I will talk to everybody here in a minute.